Okay, so Sharpie on your finished painting. It is an optional choice, okay? It gives your painting a stained glass effect, and you'll be using the thick Sharpie with this one, okay? The thin one isn't really gonna show up at all. Couple things, if you find that your painting is not as neat as you would like it to be, or if you have accidentally left slivers of white canvas showing that are relatively thin, then you might be able to use the Sharpie in order to tidy yourself up a little bit. Now, whenever you have straight lines or edges, you can go ahead and use a ruler if you want to, okay? So like in these shapes over here, I can use something that's a straight edge to keep my lines nice and neat and clean. As far as like circles and things like that, I may need to grab whatever I used to draw that original shape if I did use something. And then another thing I want you to realize is that you're using a Sharpie on a canvas, which is not the same as paper, okay? The paper is meant to absorb the ink pretty easily, and the canvas, it's actually gonna sit on top and need to dry. So one thing, you might notice that your Sharpie dries out on you a little bit as you're running it across the surface of the canvas. Tip number one, slow down. That will help a lot, okay? Another thing you can do is if you find that your Sharpie is drying out on you, just grab like a scrap piece of paper. This is just paper up here. And you can kind of like get the ink flowing again on a scrap of paper and then go back onto your canvas, okay? But again, if you go slowly as you're doing these different lines, you'll find that the ink kind of flows out at a more reasonable consistency. If you're doing like a dark shape against a dark shape, you may not even see the Sharpie line. You never know. But make sure, if you're gonna do it, do the whole thing. It looks better if it's nice and complete, okay? But it's gonna help different parts of your painting stand out. And then where you have things like curves, all right, you're gonna need to freehand that a little bit more, okay? But again, it might help you tidy up some edges that you felt like weren't as neat and clean in the beginning. And it's just a little more security there to have like a nice, complete finished painting, okay? You don't have to do this. It is optional, and I would like you to understand that, okay? Last but not least, you need to find a place to sign your canvas. Initials are perfectly acceptable. For this, you'll use a Sharpie. Any other class you take with me, you're gonna sign in paint, okay? This will be the time where you sign in Sharpie. Now, find a shape where you can actually see the black over the color, okay? I don't wanna sign in my dark purple because it's gonna blend right in. I don't want your signature to stand out and be obnoxious, but I don't wanna have to search for it with binoculars either, okay? Make it somewhat discreet and small. Like I might just, let me turn this a little bit here. I might just do my initials. And if you want, you could do the year. That's up to you. Remember your quarantine painting. Okay, when you go to put when you're done with the signature and your lines and everything, make sure you flip this over and put your name on the back of the canvas, okay? You don't need to fill out that extra information that's on the back. Like this kind of stuff that comes on the back of your canvas, you could just use it to write your name, but you don't need to worry about all this stuff down here. You do have a slide in your ePortfolio where you will put your finished painting. You will have your color swatch worksheet and also that original artist information. So there's a slide to wrap that all up, and there's no need to write it on the back of the painting. Normally what I just do is I print out the Google Doc with your artist and all your info and just have you tape it on the back